I thought Sarah was the one. We'd been together for 5 years, lived together for 3, and were even talking about marriage. Our life was comfortable, maybe even a little too comfortable. I was a software developer, working from home mostly, while she was a marketing manager with a busy, social job. I trusted her completely. Maybe that was my first mistake. It all started subtly. She began working late more often, had more client dinners, and was constantly on her phone, smiling at texts she'd quickly hide if I walked into the room. When I asked who she was texting, it was always just a coworker or my mom. The excuses were plausible. At first, I didn't want to be the jealous, controlling boyfriend, so I let it slide. I told myself I was being paranoid, but the little things kept piling up. A new perfume she started wearing that she said a client gifted her. Her sudden interest in a new genre of music she'd always hated before. The way she'd jump if I touched her phone. The distance between us grew. Our conversations became superficial, and she seemed irritated by my presence, like I was an obstacle in her day. The final straw came on our anniversary. I'd planned a surprise weekend getaway to the mountains, the same place I was planning to propose. I booked a beautiful cabin, Buha terrain, and was buzzing with excitement. The day before we were supposed to leave, she told me she had a last-minute, mandatory work conference in another city. She was so sorry. So devastated. She even managed to squeeze out a few tears. I was crushed, but I believed her. I told her it was okay. We could reschedule. That night, she packed a small overnight bag. I helped her pack, and as I picked up her jacket, a receipt fell out of the pocket. It was from a fancy restaurant downtown, dated 2 nights prior. A table for 2. I remembered she'd told me she was working late that night. Eating a sad desk salad, my heart sank. Curiosity, or maybe just a gut-wrenching need to know the truth, got the better of me. After she left for her conference, I did something I'm not proud of. I opened her laptop, which she'd foolishly left logged in. Her email was open. And there it was. An email chain not with her boss, but with a guy named Mark. The subject line was our weekend getaway. My blood ran cold as I read it. They had been planning this trip for weeks. It wasn't a work conference. It was a romantic trip with her work husband. The emails were disgustingly detailed, filled with flirty banter and plans for what they'd do in their hotel room. The hotel they booked, it was in the same city as her supposed conference, but it was a luxurious resort, not a business hotel. I felt a wave of emotions, shock, rage, and a profound, hollowing sadness. The woman I was about to ask to marry me was living a double life. I sat there for what felt like hours, just staring at the screen. The urge to smash the laptop was immense. The urge to call her and scream was even stronger. But then, a different idea started to form. A cold, clear, and calculated idea. She wanted to play games. Fine. 2 could play. My plan was simple, but I knew it would be effective. First, I called the cabin resort and canceled our reservation. Then, I called the hotel where she and Mark were staying. I pretended to be her assistant, confirming her booking details. The receptionist was very helpful. I got their room number and confirmed the reservation was under Mark's name. Next, I started my own packing, but I wasn't packing for a mountain getaway. I packed all of Sarah's things. Every piece of clothing, every shoe, every makeup palette, every sentimental trinket she'd collected over our 5 years together. I boxed it all up neatly. I was methodical, almost robotic. It was the only way I could get through it without breaking down. I labeled each box with her name in big, black marker. Then came the fun part. I called a few of our mutual friends, the ones I knew I could trust. I told them a heavily edited version of the story that Sarah and I were having a surprise party for her promotion and I needed their help with decorations. They were all excited to help. The next day, while Sarah was busy enjoying her romantic weekend, my friends and I got to work. We didn't just move her stuff out. We completely redecorated our apartment. We moved the furniture around, bought a new rug, and put up new art. By the time we were done, the place looked completely different. It was my apartment now, not ours. The final piece of the puzzle was the delivery. I hired a courier service to deliver all of Sarah's boxers. But I didn't send them to our apartment. I sent them to her office. All 27 boxers. I timed the delivery for Monday morning at 9 a.m., right when everyone, including her boss, would be arriving for the week. On the top box, he left a note. It was simple. It just said, "Since you love spending so much time with your work colleagues, I thought you'd like to have your things there too. The apartment key is in the box. Don't bother coming back. Itse Ober." And I tucked the engagement ring I had bought for her inside the note. A final, bitter twist of the knife. On Sunday night, I sat in my new old apartment, feeling a strange mix of emptiness and relief. My phone buzzed. It was Sarah. "Hey babe, conference was so boring. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Miss you so much." The hypocrisy was staggering. I just replied, "Have a safe trip home." Monday morning must have been quite a scene at her office. I can only imagine her walking in, probably bragging to Mark about how she'd fooled her gullible boyfriend, only to be greeted by a mountain of boxers containing her entire life. Her colleagues staring, her boss questioning what was going on. Her public humiliation was the centerpiece of my revenge. The phone calls and texts started around 9:05 a.m. First came the confusion. What is this? Is this some kind of joke? Then came the anger. How could you do this to me? You're insane. Followed by frantic apologies and begging. I'm so sorry. Baby, it was a mistake. Please, let's just talk about this. I didn't answer a single call or reply to a single text. I just blocked her number. I blocked Mark. I blocked her on every social media platform. I cut her out of my life as cleanly and efficiently as I had packed her belongings. A few days later, one of our mutual friends told me what happened. Apparently, the fallout at her work was catastrophic. The scandal spread like wildfire. Her affair with Mark, who was also in a relationship, became public knowledge. Their professional credibility was shattered. Mark was transferred to another branch, and Sarah, facing immense pressure and embarrassment, resigned a few weeks later. Dewey regretted not for a second. She tried to fool me, to humiliate me, to break my heart while she lived a fantasy. She underestimated me. She thought I was the quiet, unassuming guy who would just take it. But you can only push a good person so far. And moving on, truly moving on, has been the sweetest part of it all. Thanks for listening to my story. It was a tough time, but I came out stronger on the other side. If you've ever been through something similar, know that you're not alone, and your happiness is what matters most. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed the story and subscribe for more. See you in the next one.